everyone that's still standing can find a seat, we're gonna get started soon. So if everyone could also stop talking, we're gonna get started just in a few minutes.
Awesome. What's up, everyone? Welcome to HackGT 12 Midnight at the Museum. My name's Lauren Wagner, your friendly museum tour guide and one of the co-directors of Hex Labs. I'm so excited to meet all of you this weekend.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Lee and I am the other co-director of Hex Labs. As many of you may already know, Hex Labs is a nonprofit that runs HackGT annually as well as a plethora of other events. With a team of just 50 organizers, we're so proud of everything that we've put together for you this weekend. But what really makes HackGT special is the energy and creativity that all of you bring to this space. We truly appreciate the time that you set aside for us this weekend.
Jessica and I have been waiting a long time to be here with all of you today. Over the past year, our team has been working tirelessly to make sure these next 36 hours feel like a museum's grandest adventure. Just like exhibits and T-Rexes, your ideas will come to life after hours. This weekend, you'll be surrounded by more than 1,000 people ready to apply their creativity and passions to build something awesome. As you proceed with your journey this weekend, think of this as your museum, an opportunity to learn, collaborate, and bring your ideas to life.
This year marks the 12th iteration of HackGT, Georgia Tech's flagship hackathon and one of the largest collegiate hackathons in the nation. We received over 3,000 applications from over 50 schools, and the 1,500 of you here today were selected to participate this weekend. Each year, we have hundreds of incredible projects submitted and demoed. This year, the prizes are even better than they've ever been, from iPads to PS5s, and even a grand trip to Disneyland. There are over $33,000 worth in prizes for y'all this year.
We also hope that HackGT doesn't end for you on Sunday. We want you to leave with new friends, an awesome project, and opportunities for the future. With more than 1,000 people here, the connections you make can be timeless. Just a quick reminder, this event works because everyone helps create a respectful, welcoming community. Whether you're building, learning, or just taking a break, please make sure to treat everyone with kindness and respect. I hope everyone here is excited to learn and create some awesome projects. We can't wait to see what everyone builds this weekend.
Hi, you must be Lee.
Yes, I am. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Welcome to the Class Museum. Congrats on your new night security guard job, and I'm sure you must be very excited.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. So tonight is your first shift. You will patrol the halls, check the doors, and don't touch the art. It's pretty easy and straightforward.
Okay, I'll just guard the museum. Yeah, no pressure.
And here are the museum keys.
Thank you.
You'll be fine. The museum doesn't bite, well, except maybe the East Wing.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Nothing. Just have fun and
Really make sure you don't fall asleep.
Okay, thank you. What was that? Just the wind, right? Oh my god. Oh my god, I think I'm going crazy.
You're not going crazy, don't run away.
It talks, I'm out of here. I'm telling you, the exhibit moved. It literally spoke words to me.
And what did it say? Who?
It said something like, oh, don't go, I'm lonely, but around the same vibe.
Aline, I worked here for 20 years. Exhibits don't talk. Dinosaurs don't ask for friends.
Okay, if you say so.
You're probably nervous because it's your first shift. Get some rest because you're on shift tonight. It's okay, things will get better.
Okay.
Ooh, you came back. Please don't be afraid.
Stay away, stay away. I have keys and a really angry face.
But wait, I don't want to hurt you. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I just wanted a life. To see the sky, touch some grass, eat food that isn't plastic fruit.
You eat plastic fruit? Do you
Yeah.
want to talk about it?
Let's talk about it. It's all I have. Every guard runs away before I could explain. I just want to belong.
Yeah, I get that. Honestly, I only took this job because I needed a reset. Things weren't doing so well. Though, sitting alone in a dusty museum would be easier than talking to people.
But I'm not a person. I'm a talking dinosaur. But anyway, let's just put that aside. Let's be friends.
You're weird, but I think I like you.
Yay.
Oh, look!
What is this?
It's a hackathon. It's where people build amazing things, solve problems, and it's tonight. If you want to start having a normal life, this is where you'll begin.
But what if they run away from me?
And we'll try it again tomorrow. Maybe they'll see you like I do.
Okay, we might as well try. Let's do it.
Hey, let's go!
Hello. Oh my god, it didn't scream at me.
Oh my god, that's true.
Yay.
Welcome to HackGT. And here's your laptop.
Thank you.
Shout out to our incredible marketing team for making this video. Before we get into hacking, we have a few things to go over as a part of our opening ceremony.
So first, we want to give a huge shout out to all of our sponsors this year. HackGT would not be possible without the generous contributions from each one of our sponsors. Thanks to our bronze tier sponsors, including Stevens Capital Management, CreateX, MixMax, 12 Labs, Cedar, Warp, and Ergo. Next, I want to thank our silver tier sponsor, Hudson River Trading. Finally, huge shout out to our gold tier sponsor, Capital One, T-Mobile, and Visa.
Thank you so much to Empiricus, our platinum tier sponsor. We're so excited to have you here with us this weekend. And I would like to give a very special thank you to our partner tier sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is a daily fantasy sports company founded by Georgia Tech alumni who love hackathons. They're excited to give back to GT and nurture growth. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jay Duskar, Dylan Cooper, Shamir Javani, and Harish Visnavarthan.
What's up, guys? I'll be pretty quick here. My name's Jay Duskar. I'm a co-founder and CTO of PrizePicks, and obviously I have Shamir and Harish here as well, which I'll get to in a second. Three quick things and I'll get out of y'all's hair. Number one, quick funny story I wanted to tell. Shamir here, I don't know how many of you know, is the original founder of HackGT, so can we get a quick round of applause? This is a pretty full circle moment, I think, for Shamir and I. We were roommates while we were here as students at Georgia Tech about a decade ago, and I remember both of us were laying on the ground, the floor of our apartment because we didn't have much furniture back when we were college students, and just, very keen on hacking and building and had big dreams of kind of breaking into the tech industry and starting organizations like these. So it's a very full circle moment, I think, for both him and I, for PrizePicks to be the partner sponsor at HackGT 12 here. And I just say all that to tell you guys, this weekend and these types of events are exactly where those things come to fruition. That was Shamir and I literally a decade ago. So if I was you and I was in this audience, I'd get very excited about building something big, because this is where that type of innovation happens. And don't take these kinds of events lightly is kind of my 2 cents. Number 2, I would get scolded by our recruiting team if I didn't give the quick shameless PrizePicks plug. We're an Atlanta homegrown tech company, as they called out. A lot of us are Georgia Tech alumni, and we're sports nuts. We love building B2C apps and a cool brand that we all find exciting. And to do that, and our ambitions really in daily fantasy sports and gaming are to dominate in North America. I think to do that, we're obviously going to need the best product, tech, engineering talent, analytics talent, and we know that exists here at Georgia Tech. So our pitch is simple. I know there's a lot of builders, hackers, entrepreneurs in this audience. That's who we want at PrizePicks. Come work with us, learn from our colleagues, and go start your own thing in the future. It's a pretty simple pitch, and I think that's the makeup of the team at PrizePicks. So our team spent a lot of time working with Hex Labs, designing some of these tracks, some of these prizes this weekend. We've got a booth out in the hall, and so we'll be here all weekend. Come talk to us if you're interested in any of the opportunities at PrizePicks. We'd love to riff back and forth on that. And then last thing I'll quickly say is I do want to extend a genuine thank you to the Hex Labs and HackGT team. They've been awesome to work with. And I see this event get bigger and better every year. You guys should be really proud of that. So it's awesome to be here. And with that, I'll quickly hand it over to Shamir to say a couple of things.
Hey everyone, my name is Shamir. I'm a senior software engineer at PrizePicks, and yeah, 11 years ago, I co-founded HackGT. All I can say is I'm trying super hard not to cry right now. It is absolutely crazy to me, as Jay said, that 11 years ago, in the summer of 2014, he was sitting on the couch on his laptop, building what was to become PrizePicks, while I was sitting on the exact same couch on my laptop, building HackGT. And here we are, 11 years later, in 2025, our worlds have collided, and everything has come full circle. Our 2 babies have joined forces to empower you all and keep the spirit of hacking alive at Georgia Tech. So, honestly, we're just so freaking proud to be able to empower you all to build this weekend. That's so important to us, as Jay just said. So, whether you're a new hacker or a veteran hacker or anywhere in between, anywhere on that spectrum, we have a full squad here this entire weekend to help you build the ideas that are in your heads. So please come say hi, please stop by our booth, come to our tech talks. We have some amazing content lined up for you that should supercharge your projects this weekend. Go forth and hack, and we'll see you in just a couple hours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to PrizePicks. It's incredible to see such amazing GT and HackGT alum here at our event, and feel free to go talk to them at Sponsor Fair, learn more. Super stoked to host y'all. Some of our sponsors will be tabling at our Sponsor Fair tonight at the Klaus Atrium. We recommend that you take this time to ask about career opportunities, share your background, and ask sponsors any questions about their company. Our sponsor badges will look like this, so keep an eye out for them this weekend. Next up, we'll go through all of the cool tracks and prizes for this weekend. First up, we'll have the Hall of Illusions track. This is all things AR and VR. Think any immersive tech that can blur how users see reality. If you win this prize, you'll do just that, with the first place prize of Meta Ray-Ban glasses. The second place prize is a super cool record player. Next up is the Gadget Gallery. This is for all things hardware. Think physical products that you would build in a makerspace or lab. Spaces like the Hive and Aero makerspaces will be available this weekend. The first place prize will be a 3D printer, and the second place prize is a gaming monitor.
Our next track is encryptive data. This involves anything from data visualization, analytics, fintech, and Web3 innovation. Basically anything to do with data. The second place prize for this will be a smart projector, and the first place prize will be a drone with a 4K camera. Next, we have the Curator's Cause, which is all about social good. This includes any projects related to improving communities, making lives easier, education, sustainability, and more. The prizes for this track will be a Ninja Creamy for second place and a Meta Quest 3 for first. Last but not least, we have our emerging track for all those who are newer to hackathons. This track is all about experimenting and learning, so no prior experience is required. The first place prize for this will be Bose headphones, and the second place prize will be an espresso machine. This year, we have even more to win with prizes from sponsor challenges. Quick reminder, please read all the guidelines carefully for each sponsor track, as you need to follow all the guidelines in order to be in contention. So this means if a specific technology or framework is required, please ensure your submission uses it before submitting to that challenge. All right, first up, we have PrizePicks' first challenge on sports intelligence and insight systems, which has to do with finding patterns and real-time insights with sports data. The prize for this will be $2,000 in cash, as well as the VIP PrizePicks experience. PrizePicks' next track will be involving React Native, so any type of app development that uses React Native will be considered. The prize for this is also $2,000 in cash and the VIP PrizePicks experience. Empiricus' track is focused on reimagining how technology can improve healthcare provider engagement. So this can be tools that make healthcare interactions more efficient and impactful. Their first place prize for this will be $3,000 in cash and an automatic final round interview for each team member for any relevant positions. Second place prize will be $1,500 and a guaranteed first round interview for relevant positions. Finally, third place will be $500 in cash. Next, we have Capital One's track focusing on the best financial hack with projects related to fintech, specifically utilizing Capital One's Hackathon API, Nessie. Each member of the winning team will receive $250 in Amazon gift cards.
We'll also have some super cool opportunities for hackers with Cedar's Best Use of Cedar OS challenge. Hackers who impress our judges by building an agentic co-pilot will win a high-tier referral to the next Y Combinator cohort batch, as well as guaranteed interviews at Cedar and other YC companies. Warp's Best Developer Tool challenge is for a hack that helps improve the developer experience. Winners will receive a mechanical keyboard. Next, Ergo's Best Use... Next, Ergo's Best Use of Master Agent Framework for Productivity. First place winners will receive 500 cans of Celsius, and second place will win AirPod Pros. We're super excited to share CreateX's sponsor challenge. When completing your final submission, simply opt into their challenge for the opportunity to take your project to the next level.
We also have a few companies this year offering free API credits to all our hackathon participants. Make sure to claim a free OpenAI API key for your team from our help desk. There will also be promo codes for unlimited Warp AI usage, and this will be the pro plan sent in the #sponsor_warp channel on Slack. Next up, we'll quickly introduce some of our cool workshops and events we'll be having all weekend. This includes different sponsor events, workshops from Georgia Tech clubs, performances, and more. And you can find all the locations and times for this on the live site, which I'll be talking more about later. The first sponsor event that we have is PrizePicks' Intro to React Native Development Workshop. PrizePicks engineers will be teaching everyone how to build a React Native app from scratch. It'll be a fun crash course on mobile development for anyone that wants to use React Native for their project. Next, Visa will be having a networking session where you could get the chance to talk to some engineers and recruiters, and Empiricus will also be having a networking session with a tech talk where you'll be able to learn more about how they scaled their company and chat with their team about potential career opportunities. Visa will also be having a trivia-style mini event to test your financial knowledge. Then after that, PrizePicks will introduce how to build with Expo within React Native. Expo is a framework that handles platform-specific complexities so engineers could focus on building. Expo is essential for anyone looking to prepare their React Native apps for production and public use. Okay, we also have a really, really cool golf simulator on the second floor of Klaus at noon on Saturday from PrizePicks. And also, you'll get the chance to get more involved with Empiricus at their mini challenge and also hear more about life as an engineer at T-Mobile, from projects to career opportunities at their tech talk. Finally, AWS will be having a workshop at the Kolk at 8:30 p.m. tonight, where you'll learn more about cloud computing, ML/AI with AWS, and get the chance to talk to some engineers and recruiters. At the end of the workshop, make sure to claim some free AWS credits. Okay, next, MLH's workshop will be about supercharging GitHub Copilot, and you'll also be able to talk to some MLH representatives and get more advice on projects. For club workshops, first we have iOS's app design using Swift with iOS Club. Quick note, please download Xcode ahead of time if you plan on attending this workshop. And next, Big Data, Big Impact will be teaching everyone how to use LLM-powered conversational agents. At Design Club's workshop, you'll be introduced to some basics with Figma, and AIGT's workshop will involve building a retrieval augmented generational Q&A agent, and GitMad's workshop will also focus on Android app development. So for this one, again, make sure to download Android Studios ahead of time if you plan on attending.
We're also super excited to be hosting various Georgia Tech performance clubs. First, we'll have GT Glee Club, which is one of the oldest clubs on campus. They'll be performing a vocal performance. We'll also have Dragonflyers, so watch them perform incredible stunts and tricks in this Diablo performance club. Next, Filipino Student Association will be showcasing a traditional Filipino performance. And finally, Solstice, Georgia Tech's K-pop dance team, will be showcasing their incredible choreography. But that's not all of the amazing stuff we have planned for this weekend. Saturday night is museum night. There will be all sorts of fun food, games, entertaining showcases ranging from RoboJacket's BattleBots, VG Devs, games to play, and GT Gord's live painting competition. Also, we're super excited to be partnering with some amazing makerspaces here on campus. The Hive Engineering Makerspace will be available 3 to 9 on Saturday with all sorts of work areas and tools. Please make sure you only use Hex Labs hardware and bring your school ID to enter. Make sure you treat the space well. If you do not, you will be blacklisted from future Hex Labs events. Additionally, the Aero Makerspace will be available for participants. Feel free to head over between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. tomorrow. There will be 3D printing, a wood shop, and more. Make sure you also bring your student ID and check in with the AE mentors to avoid making mistakes and being blacklisted from future Hex Labs events. The Hacker House will also be opening its doors to hackers this weekend. Created by builders and founders, this space will be available to anyone who wants to work, sleep, or check it out. We're so excited to host the following tech talks and partners at HackGT 12. We're thankful to be partnering with MLH for this event. MLH will empower hackers this weekend with tech and career resources, events, and programs. Let's welcome Ryan Lalo to the stage.
All right, hello everyone. I hope everyone is having a great afternoon so far. I'm Ryan Lalu. I'm a coach at Major League Hacking. I'm actually one of 3 Ryans at MLH, so if any of y'all recognize Ryan Lay from last year, he's number 2. HackGT is also my 52nd hackathon, so if you have any questions, feel free to talk to me, or if you don't want to get stuck in, oh, it's stuck there, stuck in a 1-hour conversation with me, just know I'm a D1 yapper. So, saying all of that, I'm going to be joined this weekend by Swift and John. They're the 2 co-founders at Major League Hacking, as well as Ro, who's a senior manager here at MLH. So we have a lot to talk about in the next 5 minutes. So if you want a cheat sheet with all that information, go to this link right here on the screen. It has everything you need to know. After that, we also have a global hacker community. So if you want to connect with them on our Discord, you can also use the link on the screen here. So out of curiosity, who here is at their first hackathon? Wow, that is like 70% of the crowd. That's great. So for those who don't know who we are, we're Major League Hacking. We're the global hacker organization. You'll see us at events all around Europe, Asia, North America, and it is our job to empower hackers just like you. And that includes over 1.2 million hackers just like you at over 300 events all around the world. So you might be asking yourself, what are we doing this weekend? Well, we have some great workshops coming up. So tomorrow in Klaus 1443 at 2:30 p.m., we're going to be hosting our brand new Hacking with GitHub Copilot workshop. If you want to learn how to get a secret 5th teammate on your team, this is the tool for you to use. And fun fact, I've been using this now for 39 months. So as a person who's been using it for a while here, it is one of my favorite tools to use as a student and right now as I work. We'll also be hosting an Intro to Google AI Studio right after the Copilot workshop. If you want to win some free swag like our season t-shirts as well as some giveaways we have, again, feel free to come out and join us there. So you might be asking yourself, Ryan, what are the prizes we have this weekend? So I'll give you the answer. Our first one's going to be Google Cloud. So if you want to win our prize for the best use of Google Gemini's API, hack it. It's going to be some Keychron K8 keyboards. If you want to make a hardware hack this weekend, we also have the MLH Hardware Lab in addition to Georgia Tech's Hardware Lab. So if you want to rent out some hardware and build some stuff with us, feel free to come to either Ro or I after opening ceremony. We'll also have the best domain name from GoDaddy Registry. So if you're looking for a free domain name this weekend, MLHGT25 is the code for you to use. We're also going to have the best use of the Snowflake's API. This is one of our brand new partners. If you want to interact with LLMs using a REST API on the cloud, this is the tool for you to use. And if you hack it, you can win a Arduino kit. And lastly, we have the best AI application built with Cloudflare. If you're looking to deploy some of their Seed 3 apps or using their AI helpers, this is the tool for you to use. Honestly, it's a great hack if you want to try it out. And if you win it, we'll have some swag to give away for that as well. So if you want all that information again, you can go to our dev post, or HackGT's dev post. And if you survive until Sunday, you can win our brand new season mascot, Jewel the Jumper Wire Jellyfish demoed sticker. And because each and every one of you have the chance to demo on Sunday, I want to demo right here, right now too. So in the next 1.5 minutes, let's use Gemini to build and make a quick hack. We're going to use Gemini to plan a Flask-based chat application. It's hard to say. Write code for the application, and then run commands and host the app in less than 2 clicks. So because I can't plug in my laptop here, we've pre-recorded a video, so let's go ahead and roll it. And let's speed run it as well. So if it runs here, oh, looks like it's not running. All right, that is A-okay. Basically, we would have a demo here, and we would use Gemini using an extension called RuCode to basically write code for us and do it all really, really fast. It's a great hack, and I ran it just before this opening presentation, so if you want to try it right now, you can go to mlh.link/RyanDemo. I literally did this demo 3 minutes ago, so let me know if you can run it. And as I yap here, if someone can raise their hand the moment they get it to work, if someone can tell me actually, using my chat application, when Georgia Tech was founded, come to me after opening ceremony and I'll give you a swag prize. Raise your hand, first one I see, using this application. Oh, that's not found? Okay, that's all good, sorry. It's an on-stage demo, you know? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And hopefully this doesn't happen to y'all on Sunday. I'll take all the bad luck out of the room, don't worry. All right, that's A-okay. Well, the overall thing here is Gemini is a great tool for you to use and learn. It's your responsibility, like any other LLM tool, to understand it and moderate it. If you're interested in learning how the demo actually works, feel free to come up to the MLH table after opening ceremony, and I can show it to you there. But on a more serious note here, MLH hackathons are a safe space for everybody. By being at this event, you have agreed to our code of conduct. Please be respectful, as harassment and abuse will not be tolerated. If you have any issue, please come see me, Ro, John, or Swift, or any organizer. And if you can't find one of us, please use the email or phone number here on the screen. But besides that, thank you to all of our partners that make Major League Hacking possible, and happy hacking. Good luck, y'all.
Huge thank you to MLH. Thank you so much, and feel free to stop by their table at Sponsor Fair or attend their workshop tomorrow to learn more about Gemini.
Next, we are so excited to introduce our keynote speaker, Kyle Daigle. Kyle is the Chief Operating Officer at GitHub, where he leads teams from IT and business insights to developer relations and global marketing. Since joining in 2013, he's helped scale GitHub's ecosystems and led key acquisitions such as Semla and NPM, and now drives AI adoption across a global team of 3,000 plus. Even in his role now, Kyle leads with a developer's mindset, bringing engineering practices to operations and growing the spirit of GitHub as an AI-integrated, developer-first company. Let's give a warm round of applause for Kyle. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's steal a clicker from you. How's everybody doing? Oh, come on. There we go. So great to meet you. I'm Kyle. I'm the COO of GitHub, but most importantly, even though the bio you just heard talked about a lot of corpo speak, I am a developer. I've heard a lot about HackGT and super excited to be here with all of you today in the room, and I hear there's also a room that people are watching remotely as well because they couldn't get in. You all were here first, so that's the first prize I guess you've won. 1,500 students, 36 hours of hacking, 12 years running, a huge, incredible achievement from a board that's refounding itself every year. So let's give the group that's running this event a huge round of applause. I already heard a version of this question kind of be asked about being the first hackathon. I'm curious how many of you are studying computer science? There we go. Let's do the inverse if you're not studying computer science. I mean, there we go. That's awesome. And I'm kind of curious how many of you are coming here with an idea you've already figured out, you know what you're about to go build. There we go. See, the split's happening again. And who's looking for an idea or has some ideas but don't know what to build? There we go. Awesome. So when I was in college, I was not studying computer science myself. I was a developer from 13. I was making some money by building access databases for my town. It was good money back then, but I thought computer science was going to be boring. I live in Connecticut, and in Connecticut, you go into insurance. No offense to anyone looking to or working in insurance. That wasn't my vibe. So instead, I actually went to school for lighting design. Yeah, I know, this is pretty embarrassing, but nonetheless. So I was a theater kid, backstage nonetheless. But I was still obsessed with this idea of we have to create something. You have to do it. The show's gonna go on. It doesn't matter whether you're ready or not. And that's really how I fell in love with startups and ended up changing my career from lighting design at BU to startups and fintech. I was building apps to pay for my art degree on the side. I built apps for realtors and sold them off. I built an app from Twilio called Call My Red Phone that I sold off for, I think it was $5,000 back then, which was basically $5 million back when I sold it. And I think the thing that led me to GitHub was that act of creation over and over and over again. And I joined GitHub in 2013 as a developer. We didn't have managers. We had open allocation, which adults now call anarchy. But it was at a place that was obsessed, right, with this idea that we could just chat about something and then turn that into reality and ship it to the world. And now there's 150 million people that are on GitHub doing the same thing that you all are about to do this weekend. Taking ideas, turning them into reality, and building software that, honestly, society depends on. There's so many projects that you all are building that do go on to truly change the world, whether you know it or not, simply by putting your code on GitHub. And so at GitHub, from the very beginning, this was an old slide deck I pulled out and shared with the team from 2013. This was what we used to call Office 2.0. We would have a slogan where we would dream it in the morning and build it in the afternoon. It was permission. You can just do things. You move fast, ship it, it doesn't matter. The world will tell you whether it's something that's valuable to them. And even if it's not, if you enjoyed building it, that's good enough. And that's the ethos that's turned GitHub from that scrappy little thing that I got to be a part of in 2013 to this enormous business, this enormous community, the world of open source, from code spaces to GitHub Actions to GitHub Mobile. Every single thing that we've built in that time is because there's someone somewhere had the idea, and then they also brought it to life. And that's also the mindset that led us to build GitHub Copilot, the world's first AI-powered programmer, helping millions of developers, millions of people, if you don't want to call yourself a developer quite yet, go from idea to production. The interesting thing, which has kind of come out several times as we've been talking about this tool, is that it wasn't built for this. The idea was that we would use LLMs to document your code. That was the big ship. Copilot was in some ways an accident from an incredibly smart team across 7 different time zones in the midst of the pandemic. But just trying your idea, shaping it and building it and realizing that you're wrong can bring you to the next thing like Copilot Chat or Spaces or the coding agent or agent mode. Dream it in the morning, ship it in the afternoon, And that's always been super core to GitHub's DNA. And here's the thing, this ethos is not just ours, it's ultimately yours, it's MLH's. It's this idea of living here, coding in the beautiful building with 3 stories. None of the hackathons I've ever been to have been like that. You can see the sun from all 3 stories while it's up. You all are gonna be able to do that this weekend. And the world has changed from when I've been working with the MLH folks back when they got started to now. The distance from, hey, I have an idea with a friend, but I don't know how to code, or I have an idea, but I don't really know how to get started. That gap has shrunk so quickly. What's taken months now takes days and sometimes hours. And we're seeing incredible projects that come out of hackathons just like this, like Braille Learn. It's a refreshable Braille display built to help visually impaired users learn and practice Braille. Or Crisis Lens. It's a tool that maps real-time crisis events using peer-shared videos that support communities in need. We're excited to partner with these 2 projects, and I want to hear about your projects too as you build them, whether they work on Sunday. Just a reminder, the demo only has to work the one time. But if it works on Sunday or not, I want to see them because it shows the curiosity in what's possible with software. And if you tune into GitHub Universe this year, our annual conference, you may get to see a little bit more of what these projects have done. That's the reality that we're living in today, this transformational moment. I love the computer science students too, but I also love seeing folks that maybe are a little uncomfortable to be here or haven't actually sat down to code. It's okay. We've all been there, and if anyone says they haven't been, they're lying. More voices, more perspectives means more creativity flooding into the field. And most importantly, it means more problems are getting solved. And so that's why GitHub has set this really ambitious goal of creating 1 billion developers. I was talking with Swift where he was saying, hey, when I heard this the first time, I thought it was not possible. And so quickly, we're seeing so many more people come and learn how to code with us, or try to ship an app, or share with their friends. It's really about solving real problems. It's not just about the code. The code is just the tool that we're using. So, what does that mean for you? You're getting ready to hack into the night. We were talking about the legal amount of Red Bull that is allowed to be had in a 36-hour period. 450 milligrams a day, just saying. Here are the things I would focus on. When you're on your journey of learning how to code, don't just worry about the algorithms, the data structures, the variables, the languages. Worry about solving problems. LLMs are incredibly good at the first part. They're figuring out the second part. Creativity, breaking down a problem, understanding what someone's actually asking for, not what they're telling you to build, is a unique skill that you can grow and use regardless of what your career ends up being. The second thing is going to sound pretty boring to you all, but when we're talking to employers, when we're talking to companies, you all are getting comfortable with AI tools. You use them, it's second nature. Continue to have that growth mindset, that learning culture of not just going from a shortcut to homework, but experimenting. Do you really understand what it's telling you? Learn and test, because there are employers who are paying people like us and others simply to come and explain how to use these tools. How to use Copilot, Fortune 500s. So, don't just worry about using it, be able to use it, understand it, and then I do believe that's a huge employable asset that only you all have. And finally, build your community. Find the folks in the room that you can learn and ship with. Find the folks in the Discord across MLH that you can learn and ship with. Chat with Avni and Morgan from the GitHub education team over here. There's a bunch of hubbers here that are looking to chat with you and see how we can be more helpful. We have a great peer global network that we'd love to connect you into so we can help you connect, go on to the next part of your careers, make sure you have the tools that you need, and support you in any way that we can. So I want to wrap up so we can go to some of the Q&A, but tech is changing so quickly. I think we've said that over and over, and it's just such a cliche, but right now it seems so utterly impossibly true that when we build demos or we prepare for conferences, 24 hours later we get alerted about a new model that's being shipped and we have 72 hours to send it to the world. having the skills to solve those problems together, to use these new tools, and just finding the people that you want to work with for the next month, day, hour is a big part of it. So there's just one thing left to remember. What can you do in 36 hours? How can you go from that idea to impact as much faster than you ever thought you could with today's tools? And as you know, you don't need the permission to do it. Just do it today. No boundaries except the legal ones in the code of conduct. Go make it happen. Dream it in the morning, build it in the afternoon. That's been the GitHub story since we've got started about 18 years ago. That's HackGT's story for over 10 of these awesome events. And this weekend, it's going to be your story too. So thank you so much, and I can't wait to see what you build. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Next, we're going to transition into our fireside chat portion of tonight's ceremony. Moderated by our design co-director, Shreya Buragada, the fireside portion of this speech will include live questions from the audience to Kyle. Please give Shreya a warm welcome of applause.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. As Lauren said, my name is Shreya. I'm one of the design directors for Hex Labs. I'm a fourth-year computer science major and BME minor here at Georgia Tech, and I'm super excited to be speaking with you, Kyle, and everyone here today. And with that, we have some amazing questions from our audience members today, so I'll hand it off to our first participant for the first question.
All right, hello, I'm Andres Lopez. I'm a sophomore at BU studying computer science and finance. Thank you for taking the time to be here. And my question was, what would you say was the biggest factor throughout your career that led you to where you are today as a CEO of GitHub? And then this one's a little different, the next one. What do you see as the biggest growth opportunity in the future besides artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that helped me grow into the role that I'm at is, I guess, maybe two things. The first is always be the one to run at the intractable problem. Especially when you're in your careers, everyone is trying to figure out, well, do I want to take this project on because I also want to get promoted, or I also want to make more money, or I also want to make sure I know how to do it. The leaps in my career all came in the moment where my gut, my experience said we absolutely have to do this, and I didn't know how. But no one else did either. That's like the big secret when everyone tells you, in these roles, we all basically don't know. But the people who decide to make the leap and take the chance are really the ones that are going to be able to, go on to that next stage of their career or solve a really hard problem that no one else did yet. The second thing I would just say is, do your best to not use labels. I feel like it's a little cliche, but sometimes in computer science, folks will say, well, I'm not a designer. Well, no, I mean, you could learn that skill, you might not be innately talented, but you could learn it. But as soon as you start going around telling everyone I'm not a designer, or I'm not a deep computer science person, that's what I used to say when I was starting in my career, everyone starts filing you. Like, oh, well, okay, well, Kyle's not a designer. I mean, I was getting a fine arts degree at BU, but I would not have called myself a designer those first years. Now it's a huge part of my role. In marketing, brand, etc. So be careful of labels. In terms of the biggest thing in the future will be won by the people who are not afraid to learn. And that sounds crazy, but it is more true than ever. Because for so many years of our careers as developers or computer scientists, you learn a particular set of skills or an area of knowledge, and you kind of get locked in. You learn algorithms in C, and then you learn them in Java, and then I'm going to stay on this side of the fence, or I'm going to learn, dynamic programming languages, etc. The world is changing so quickly right now that if you can be open to sort of learning new things, not knowing things, just saying, I don't know this, and see if you can find someone that can join you in learning, your career, what you can solve, what you can build will be so much bigger than someone that is probably, to be honest, someone like myself that's been in the field for 25 years, but even I don't know how cemented I am, you know, in the things that I learned in my formative years. So try not to lose that self-driven learning, not necessarily scholastic learning, you know, get good grades to graduate, all that good stuff. But when the new thing comes out that you're like, this can't possibly make sense, go figure out why. Don't just let it happen and sort of sit back and go, but I know this other technology, so that's okay.
All right, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that's great advice to hear from you. I think as students, especially like everyone here is a student, that's such good advice for anyone entering the industry. And like HackGT or like any hackathon is a perfect place to kind of like explore these new technologies and like break out of your boundaries of what you're comfortable with, like whether it's like sponsor challenges or just like anything. It's a great place to do that. So yeah, we can move on to the next question.
Good afternoon. My name is Jan. I'm a fourth-year IT student at Georgia Gwinnett College. And my question is, with AI increasingly co-piloting software development, what do you see as the most valuable skills for current newcomers to build now to stay relevant 5 to 10 years down the future? The kind of thing that GitHub itself would look for when hiring.
Yeah, so when we hire, and this is before Copilot, but it's still true now, we don't do any leak coding anything. All of our exercises, when I was leading engineering teams, still true now, it's all very practical problems that you would experience at GitHub. And we historically have done two major interview components. One is the sort of normal, like, here's a problem. It's usually an in-progress branch or a pull request, and we go, this is what we're trying to do, continue, essentially. And that's very helpful, because it lets me see sort of how you're going to figure out what's going on in a code base you don't know, potentially in a language you don't know. The other one is the more important one. The other one is we have you do a pull request review. And you'd be dumbfounded how quickly we can learn 80% of what we need to know about your hireability in that review. Because there are so many different facets of that. And a lot of them are about our humanity, our collaboration. Do you want to work with an asshole?
No.
Okay, well there you go, you know? And so when you're going through and you're reading all the responses, is it so terse you don't even understand what they're doing? Because we'll tell you, this is a software engineer 3, which maybe has 3 years professional experience, let's just say. Well, you can't just drop a bunch of terms that they've never used in a library they've never used. You got to make sure they know. But do we have to tell you that, or do you know? So as we're going through the AI era, we're sort of oversimplifying, in my opinion, how much we could just copy and paste everything into ChatGPT. If that were true, ChatGPT Copilot would just be running the internet. You know, hook up Datadog to ChatGPT and we'd be done. None of us would have jobs, the internet would run. Obviously that doesn't happen, you know. Things are complex, they require intuition, they require experience. So keep honing your humanity, as silly as that sounds, because how you communicate and how you collaborate is a unique thing. Just being right is actually almost the least important part at the moment, because the tools are getting so good at being experts in facts, but they're not experts in empathy. You know, that has to be faked into the models currently.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and again, that's great advice for like all of us that are like entering the industry soon. And I love how transparent you were about like GitHub's hiring process. So yeah, we can move on to the next question.
Hello, my name is Mohammed Fakhri, and I'm a master's student at Oregon State University studying computer science. My question is a bit long-winded, but it is, after the GitHub CEO recently stepped down, which caused GitHub to be folded into Microsoft's core AI division, how will GitHub maintain its focus on developer-centric tools like GitHub Actions and preserve the openness of the GitHub ecosystem while also aligning with Microsoft's AI strategy?
Yeah, for sure. I laugh because I'll bring you back to 2018 when GitHub got acquired, right? And we weren't sure about it. I don't know that we would have been stoked to remain independent for another 4 years, but also, you know, I think we were curious, but, you know, concerned. There's all kinds of stories around what has happened with Microsoft and acquisitions. What I'll say now is that the good news is that because of all of you, because of the developers in the world, Microsoft clearly understands what power open source developers have. You all pack your bags and repos and go somewhere else. That's not good at the board level, truly. So with this change, I think the main thing is around working with the new leaders as part of this Core AI organization, the folks that run Azure Foundry, build all the agents, so on and so forth, to ensure that they deeply understand what you all need. Yesterday I was talking to Caroline, who's on my team. I shared, you can now comment on any file, even if they're unchanged in a pull request, because sometimes you need to have context. And it was like, boom! I don't even know how many replies I had gotten, and we also made 2 other Copilot products available that day. And what did all the developers lose their damn minds about? The thing that they've been asking us to do for 6 years. Right? Of course, it makes perfect sense, That is, I think, how we're gonna be careful, with our Microsoft peers, around always putting the developer first. That's where we talk about in every conversation. We don't talk about enterprise first. We don't talk about how to make money. We need to make enough money to pay for our salaries. We need to make enough money to pay for open source. It is not free. We spend more on open source than comparable companies spend on marketing. So that's how we're focused. If the developers like it, the companies will buy it. And so that's, to be candid, right, why we're here. If you all like GitHub and we meet your needs and the tools are actually useful and not just, because they're on a slide or, they're actually useful to you, then hypothetically, when you go to your employer, when you go to get your job, you're gonna go, GitHub's pretty good. But that's a developer-first motion. That's not convincing the person who's buying a tool that nobody wants to use, but you're forced to because, listen, it was a really good deal. And Microsoft always wants to be in that first part, and we're just helping them learn how to do that across the entirety of their product suite.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great that GitHub is staying true to its core mission and really prioritizing developer experience. That's awesome. So yeah, next question.
Hello, my name is Lala. I'm a first-year undergraduate at Georgia Tech.
Oh wow, welcome.
And the question I have is a little bit different. I think some of the previous people that have talked kind of reflavored it, so I'm gonna take it in a different direction. So when it comes to AI tools like Perplexity, Claude Code, pushing out new features by the minute, right? Pushing out a browser, Claude Code, even being able to push things to Git now, right? Where do you see GitHub's positioning in this new tech atmosphere going forward?
Yeah. So we're talking about this a lot, and we're arguing about it productively right now. My opinion is that it is GitHub's role to allow developers to use whatever tools and technology you choose, even if we provide a tool that matches another tool in the industry. Telling a developer they can only use a certain terminal, a certain IDE, a certain browser is a fool's errand. You will all flip a table and leave your employer, quit your class. If I told you you had to use a certain computer type for all of your classes here, I imagine that would have also helped some of you make a educational decision. That is how deep that rolls. So I think for us, similar to how in the earlier era of GitHub, where we were we didn't have continuous integration, we didn't have actions. You had to bring it to us. But we were like, come on in, friends, connect any tool. I think we need to do the same thing in the age of AI. If you want to use Claude Code, great. How can I make it great for you to use Claude Code with GitHub? If you want to use Claude Code and Codex and Devin and Copilot, why should I care? As long as you're having a great experience on GitHub. Because we don't just care about the code gen. We need you to also deploy that. We need you to be successful. We need you to build that. So the more I think we can let you not have choice, but kind of not have to make a choice. You just know it's all going to work with GitHub in the way that you want to work versus having to learn that tool and our tool. That's how I think we'll continue to be successful, and candidly just empower developers versus trying to convince you that our suite is the best suite. That's a short-term distribution game. that's hard to win over the long term because you all will make a choice, and I just want you to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, and that's really important. I think as developer platforms are not just becoming like a place to store code, but active collaborators, that's really important. And it's great that you're prioritizing developer experience again. Okay, so I think that was all the prepared questions. So I think we have some time to move on to some random questions from the audience. So if anyone has any questions, raise your hand and we can maybe select a few people. Okay, yeah, we can take you two in the front, I think. Just like come up here.
Yeah, there's a mic
yeah,
over
like
here.
in like the fourth row. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Samiksha. I'm a first-year industrial engineering major here at Georgia Tech. My question is slightly more business-oriented. So what's the hardest trade-off you've had to make between keeping GitHub true to its open source roots versus scaling it as a global business?
Yeah. Hiring. We're a remote company. We've always been remote. We started off with 15 people in San Francisco, roughly, and then immediately we started hiring remote because we quickly learned that the best open source talent lives in a farm in Idaho because that's their life's passion, but they also are really great coders. As we scaled, we hired all around the world. It's incredibly difficult to meet all the legal obligations of all the locations around the world, especially in today's era, because every country, states in countries, regions in countries have different rules. So I know that's a non-technical answer, but to your point about business, hiring is hard, especially if you want to enable remote. So we're still adamant about remote. We don't do return to office. There's not really anywhere to return to. We have an office in San Francisco, but 2 floors are dedicated to collaboration, not desks. But we can't hire everywhere in the world anymore. Can't hire everywhere, even in the United States anymore, simply because everywhere we hire has a literal cost. Lawyers, accountants, all kinds of people. And so we're true to our principles around remote, but we've had to tell people, I'm sorry, you're really talented, but we simply can't even talk to you because we can't hire in your state. Hopefully that changes and evolves. Hopefully, but that's a geopolitical issue more than it's a business one.
All right, thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm a second-year computer science major at Georgia Tech. And I wanted to ask you, speaking asset-wise, what's the best asset a software engineer can have, when applying to jobs or looking at the field?
I was talking about this on the walk over here. I'm not joking. You being able to talk about software projects, and even if they fail or don't ship, it doesn't matter. Describe what you learned and why it didn't work. Practical experience will beat education every day of the week. They build on top of each other. You don't need to have both, but you can. It gives you a great foundation. But when you come or you pitch me or you email me, which some of you already have and more of you will definitely, that's great. I love talking to you. Tell me about the thing you did and what you learned and why it worked or didn't work. If you can't do those last 2 things, that's back to this kind of humanities storytelling perspective. It's a little bit of pitching, but it's also just you having the ability to intuit, to learn, to introspect why it worked or didn't work. Because this is a microcosm of the real world. You're gonna have an argument with a teammate. Okay, explain how you still ship something or not. That is a really great skill for any role, not just the computer science roles.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you. I'm Marika. I'm from Italy, and I'm currently studying physics. I'm a freshman here in GT. My question is kind of long, so feel free to answer which part you like it the most. So, in many of your discussions, you have suggested that AI tools can enhance job demand and compensation by making developers more productive and experienced. Yet, the prevailing narrative often frames AI as reducing demands for jobs. And with AI also democratizing coding, do you see these dynamics as contradictory or more as interrelated forces that could ultimately promote greater equity? And Building on that, from your own journey of balancing a passion for coding with the broader responsibilities of being a COO, how has this dual perspective shaped the way you think about evolving role of both developers and leaders in a most likely AI-driven future?
Sure. So I think there are, speaking broadly about AI, there are some roles that are in many ways broadly information retrieval roles. You know, ask a question, a customer service person gives you an answer. Some of those roles we've seen say, well, we don't need that many people that do that. I think the more interesting thing for that in computer science, or developers, I guess, is that we're also seeing the opposite happen. Where people go, well, I don't need that many developers, I don't need that many customer service reps, and my business is not doing as great as it was, which is kind of weird because we just saved 30%, and then they go back and they hire those roles. We're talking a lot about vibe coding in GitHub, and I don't mean it as a negative thing, I sometimes snicker too, but I think access to the technology is great. If you want to be able to go build an app and ship it, it's awesome. I don't think you should have to go look at the code. I think that's a great thing. I go change the light switches in my house. I don't go into my breaker panel because I'll kill myself. I think what people are starting to understand is that there's so much complexity in writing software and shipping software and operating software that while code generation may not be as much of part of your job, in some ways that's okay because the hardest parts are, well, where do we deploy all of this? How do we operate it? How do I make sure you have low latency? How do I make sure I'm meeting your demand? And there's still a need for that. So companies that have said this year very loudly from a media perspective, I run communications for GitHub, and it's kind of funny to me to watch all these companies that are software companies just get on their soapbox and say, we're not going to hire any developers. They're absolutely hiring developers. 100%. Go look on their website, and the folks are saying we're not going to hire anymore. They are. Don't get me wrong. For folks coming out of school, no one is really sure how to handle what the industry will call a junior developer because they don't know how to say, well, the AI tools are going to help you. They know how to say it's going to help a senior developer who's never written Go in their life, go write Go. But for junior developers, they don't know. That's why I started and said, if you can pitch them on how you know how to use every single one of these tools, you've tried them all out. Give me a problem. I can go use it. That will give you a leg up in your cover letter, in your email, in your resume, in the interview when you're going to get that job. Because I think the world has greatly overestimated how few developers we're going to need. We will need more because there are an infinite number of problems. And now we have a way to solve many, many more of them than we could before.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, I think that's all the time we have for questions today. Thank you so much for participants for the great questions, and thank you, Kyle, for your time and for your insightful answers.
Thank you. I want to say, I'm K Daigle everywhere. I do want to see your projects or hear your story. Don't be shy. I say this everywhere, and 5 of you will send me stuff, and the rest will not. Please do. There's also a camera crew here from us that you'll see around all weekend. If you want to tell your story, if you want to share what you're working on, this is not the moment to hide. I am always looking for students and projects and stories to tell the world about all the cool shit you're doing. So please don't, I'm an introvert deep down, even though I come off gregarious, and so I would be the one hiding from the camera people if they weren't here from GitHub. But if you're interested, be that person to go up, because we're doing a conference in 5 weeks, and you might be around the world in a moment talking about your work. So please, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kyle, for taking the time out of your busy day and schedule to come all the way to Atlanta for us. And shout out to the audience for such insightful questions. Next, let's get into some logistics and resources for your time at HackGT. First, make sure you keep up to date with this weekend's events at live.hexlabs.org. It's the best way to know what information is happening and when, see maps of Klaus, read up on important sponsor information, and check out what other cool stuff is happening. Take a second to scan this QR code and bookmark the live site. Also, make sure you download the HexLabs app on your phone. This is another way to see the schedule, complete a fun scavenger hunt, and see what points you're earning towards swag economy, which we'll be talking about more later. And finally, please make sure that you join the event Slack. This is essential to your participation in HackGT 12 and is where you'll chat with mentors, sponsors, ask questions at the help desk, find teammates, and more.
Everything's good. If you get stuck on your project, we have mentors to help you. On the slide above, you can see all the rooms that we have at Klaus with mentors. And if a queue starts forming, we'll have the mentor queue channel where you'll get pinged if your name is on the queue. They'll wait for 5 minutes before moving on to the next participant. During the entire duration of the event, the help desk will be open at Klaus at all times if you have any questions, so please feel free to stop by or feel free to use the #helpdesk Slack channel for any questions as well. Next to the help desk will be the hardware desk where you could check out some of the hardware that we will be providing. On the slide here or on the live site, you could see the full list of items that we have available. And in order to check out some hardware, you need to bring your ID, which will be stored by our staff members, and your ID will be returned once you return the hardware. We also have the HackGT Swag Economy, which is just a fun point system to get some free merch. Basically, by attending workshops, sponsor events, mini-events, and performances, as well as submitting a project, you can accumulate points that are redeemable for HackGT 12 merch, like sweaters, stickers, and more. We also have a lot of vintage merch that you could look through. You can find a more detailed breakdown of how many points attending each event is, as well as how many points you have accumulated by visiting the live site. And the merch booth will be open at Klaus from Saturday till Sunday. We will also be having t-shirt distribution Saturday night, so feel free to stop by. That will be no points, so everyone will be able to get a shirt. Okay, on to judging logistics. All submissions will be due at 8 a.m. Sunday morning. Just to reiterate, hacking will begin at 8 p.m. tonight and end at 8 a.m. Sunday night, so a full 36 hours. Please do not work on your projects outside of these hours, as we will be checking commit history and project submissions. After that, you'll be randomly assigned to either Expo 1 or 2, where you'll have a chance to demo. Finally, make sure to attend our closing ceremony to see all the winners for our tracks, sponsor challenges, and grand prize winners. Some important notes on submitting a project: please make sure to submit to both DevPost and Expo. So this means that once you create a submission on DevPost, make sure to go to expo.hexlabs.org and submit your project there as well. You'll be prompted to link your DevPost there, and both these submissions are due at 8 a.m. Sunday morning. Again, please submit to both the DevPost and Expo site. Finally, if you have any miscellaneous questions at all, feel free to flag down our organizers or volunteers for help. We'll be wearing the organizer and volunteer shirts as well as the badges you see up here.
Let's move into some safety and security for the weekend. First up, make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Don't leave valuables unattended, and make sure that your badge is visible at all times. Additionally, please do not enter non-hacking spaces. These will have closed doors like Research Lab or signs that say hacking is not allowed. In case of an emergency, please contact the phone numbers on your badge. GTPD and HexLab staff are willing and able to help you out this weekend. If there's an emergency situation, call the GT Police Department or 911. When it comes to health and sanitization, let's make sure we're keeping clean this weekend. Please exercise proper hygiene. Before and after meals, wash your hands for 30 seconds with warm soap and water. Hand sanitizer will be provided. I know y'all want to shower, so the shower sign-up is available at live.hexlabs.org. Go back. Toiletries are available at the help desk. We've got shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. Visit the Klaus help desk for more information. Additionally, it's important that you uphold the MLH Code of Conduct. If you'd like to report an incident, please report it to hello@hexlabs.org or incidents@mlh.io.
All right, we're almost done. Thank you for bearing with us through this long presentation. I know it was a lot of information. Really quickly, remember us to follow us for important updates on Instagram at the Hex Labs or scan the QR code to the left for our full link tree with a bunch of important links. So I'll give you all like a few seconds to scan that. Okay, and also if you want to engage with us, feel free to tag us on Instagram or use the hashtag #HackGT in any posts. And just a quick preview of what's next for tonight. We'll be having the sponsor fair and team formation right after this, so make sure to head over to the Klaus Atrium. And later in the evening will be dinner and the AWS workshop in the Kolk.
And before we go, we have one more thing, one more special guest coming in. Look behind you, the dino himself.
He's walking hella.
If you see him around, feel free to take pictures and selfies with him this weekend. Important part of your hacking experience for sure. And on that note, thank you so much for coming to opening ceremony, guys. We're so excited for this weekend. And feel free to head over to Klaus for the rest of the night. Thank you.